Hey guys, welcome to video 4 of the 1 Minute Manager and Leadership series. So, been 4 weeks since you did the program. How'd you go? Have you grown? Have you progressed? Have you done something new that you haven't done before? And really that's the question when it all comes down to it. Did you try something new? And even if you failed, at least you tried something new. So, in this video, I thought I would just cover a couple of things I think are really important that haven't been covered in the last 3. The first was a link back to praising and reprimanding. Now, you will have noticed in the book it was mentioned again and linked back into the subject of development levels. I just wanted to sort of revisit that just quickly. The reality is that we know that people work best when they're being encouraged, when people are being recognized and praised and rewarded and all that sort of stuff. And really the theory goes back to even raising kids, that they always respond better to positive encouragement. So the long term it just works better than the stick, or the smack or whatever it might be. So we are going to say that for praising, it's very, very important when someone's in the early development stage in your venue or in your department to give them the love, give them the love. So D1 and D2s, you've got to be really looking for, the opportunity, not just waiting until something great happens, but looking and spotting and knowing in your mind that that's what you're after. You're after something that you think is good. It's on its way to being great. So you need to have it in your mind that you're looking for those newer staff, for the ones who maybe again are brand new or at least been there for a while with variable commitment. You need to be making sure that you're looking for things that they're doing even partially right and acknowledging those things. Because if you're acknowledging things they're doing partially right, they can say, well, what happens if I do it fully right and do it right every single time? You encourage people to do more of the same. Alright, so it isn't just a case of waiting until something really great happens and then acknowledging them. It's looking for those little things that build to great. Okay? And how does praising work then with D3s and D4s? Well, to some degree, when we're praising someone, we're giving them, some recognition. Firstly, it has to be genuine, doesn't it? So we can't just be looking around for things and say, oh, that's really great, good. They're going to see through it. They're going to know that you're not genuine. When it comes to the D3s and D4s, more experienced staff, they don't expect as much praise. They know that you're going to give the new guy or the new girl, a fair bit of attention. But they do not necessarily expect, because they know they're more self-directed. They know they do a good job. You've encouraged that, you've developed that within them already. So they don't expect you to be stopping, patting them on the back every 5 minutes, sort of saying, hey, another good day. They will appreciate it more when it is more spaced out and it's given for specific things where they've stood up and above the call of duty. Okay, and that will mean a lot to them. Make sure you don't miss those sort of things. All right, so praising tends to be more concentrated on the newer staff to sort of say, hey, good, we want more of that, we want more of that. By the time they get more experienced, you don't need to do it as much, but you do need to still do it on occasions which really do warrant it. So again, you've still got the filter on. We know that praising and giving people recognition is a huge motivator. So as a leader and as a manager, we make sure we have that as one of our tools or weapons, if you like. Okay, so reprimanding, how does that work in? Well, really what we don't want to be doing, and bad bosses have done this over the years, is telling people off or embarrassing them or making them feel small when they've just started. I mean, that's got to be the worst thing you possibly do. And I'm sure you wouldn't do it, but it has been done and probably does continue to be done in some businesses. So we need to avoid holding people to account or telling them off, more or less, in the early stages. Yes, we'll need to guide them. We need to say, oh, that wasn't so right this time, but you try it this way, that'd be great. Don't worry about it. It's all good. We all make mistakes. Support, support, support. Encouragement, encouragement, encouragement. Bring them up to a level. Now, when they know better, which is generally into late D2s, D3s, when they know better and they potentially deliberately go against the grain or do something that is obviously against policy, come on. If you don't stand up now and if you don't show them, and explain them very clearly what you expect, then you're going to lose them. Right? They're going to think, well, I don't care anyway. They're going to push more boundaries, and eventually they're going to feel like there's really little to keep them in check, so they're going to probably leave. And people actually want boundaries. You know, they want to know that you, as a leader or whoever, you know, is running the place, is in control and cares. And the way that we know people care is they come and talk to us, or they set the record straight, or they let us know what's acceptable, what's not acceptable. So we concentrate our reprimanding, specifically the more serious tonality and the touch and the chat and how you made me feel and all the stuff we talked about in series 1. Concentrate it more with people who've had more experience in our department or in our business. Okay, so that's the way that those two are applied. And again, we need to be ready for both of those all the time, because they are like the people. They're like the people grease. They keep things moving. They keep things moving along. Right? If we don't do that, it all dries up, sticks up, stalls. Right? We don't want that. We need to keep praising. We need to hold people accountable. We need to push it back online. We need to keep this thing moving forward. Okay, so that was the first thing. The second thing I wanted to cover in this last video for this series is really big, and I haven't even mentioned it to date, but it's on the topic of questions, on answering questions. Now, a lot of the feedback has been, well, this is great and everything, but I still get staff coming and asking me these questions, and I still feel like I have to keep giving them answers. Stop that. All right? If you want people to develop to D3s and D4s and make your life easier, you better stop answering their questions. And I don't mean have no answers, but you might know it, but stop answering their questions. You see, the more people come to you and ask you for advice or a question or something to solve a problem, and you then solve it, the more likely they're going to do it again. Why wouldn't you? It's like going to Google. Oh, I'll search for that, bang, got it, too easy. I'll go back to Google next time. And I'll stop thinking. It's like spell check on the computer. How many people can spell perfectly now because it all just self-corrects for them? Once you just get it given to you, why should you? It's human nature. It's more efficient just to go and ask this bloke. So, if you want to stop answering people's questions all the time, you want your staff to show more initiative, you need to have a big red flag come up and they say, hey, Jace, can you show me how to do this or tell me how to do this? And if you suspect that they should already know, because they're not D1s or D2s, or maybe they're late D2s, D3s, if you suspect they should already know, they will never get to D4 unless you ask this question. Well, what would you do if you were me? What are 3 things that you think you could do to solve this issue? How would you approach that? And just wait. All right? You will floor, people will be really, they're so used to getting the information from you. And now you're asking them? When you first try this out, be prepared to have some pretty shocked looks and faces. But once you start to really probe them, say, no, seriously, what would you do? What would be the number one thing? What the first thing that comes to mind? And then listen to their answer and not give it any, positive or negative. Oh, okay, interesting. What else? What else? What else would you do? And then bring it all to the table. Bring all the answers forward. And then ask them the second question. Which one of those do you think would be the best way to go? And wait. See what they say. If they get it right, great. You say, well, that's probably what I would have done. And then they go, good job. Well, good on you for thinking of that. Pat on the back, they walk away, head held high. You're thinking, oh, that was interesting. That was a bit of fun. I'll try that on the next person. If they get it wrong, maybe they say, oh, I think I should do that. Okay, well, yeah, why do you say that? Oh, well, I think X, Y, Z, and oh, really? Do you think that would be the best one? Actually, you know what? No, maybe option 2. Oh, yeah, okay, well, that's probably what I would choose. And just letting people know that you don't have to make all the decisions for them. They can make them themselves. In fact, when they make them themselves, they feel great about it. Very, very powerful. And you cannot get people to D4 without doing that. You cannot get people to be self-directed and really to stand up and make decisions and just take it on unless you've opened that up, allowed that possibility for them to answer their own questions. Ask and answer. All right, so the next time someone comes up to you and throws a question at you that you think they should actually know, just open it up. Don't get angry with them. Don't say, oh, you should know it. Just, hey, okay, well, actually, well, I don't know, what would you do if you were me? Go through the process. Very powerful. Okay, so there we go. Last video. These videos have been a bit longer than the last couple. I do realize that, but I want to give you the good stuff. So try them out. Remember about the praising. Remember about the reprimanding. But you should be doing this regularly now. You should be setting goals for these guys. You should be setting goals for yourself. You should start to narrow down your focus on what's important in management. All right. There's doing the job, and then there's having a really clear perspective on what needs to be done. Okay, and that involves